Hey, what is going on? Welcome to the Sync Producer Spotlight. My name is Jason Dowty. If you're wondering what this is, which, if you just tuned into YouTube and you never come to this, you may have that question. We had somebody in the chat that was like, yo, this is like elevator music. True, that elevator music was made by one of our Sync Producer Hub members. His name is Michael Connor. We just kind of got a kick out of it when we were playing it in the live. Where we review people's music for TV and film to see if it's ready to go. I can tell you pretty much everything Michael Connor makes is ready to go, and it sounds like he's got a live band in his living room playing it. So what is the Sync Producer Hub? So this is a community that was started by Anthony Clint Jr. Um, he started with the Road to 10 Placements, which started off as just a course to teach people how to get their music into TV and film. Turned it into a community. So not only is it all of these different courses, including all of these AI tools and how to leverage AI in today's world, if you're a musician or a composer, it's also a community of support, and it's a whole program. So if you're interested in getting your music into TV and film, there is a link in the description. Click on it and you can learn more. Let me say what's up to everybody in the chat so far. So the one that said this is elevator music is 666 Vengeance. So probably not his cup of tea when it comes to this music. Rich Rosen is in the house. He will be our guest next week. Paid a producer, Mr. Aaron Island. What is up, sir? And Ray Garcia is in the house as well. Yeah, he's like, it's better than the girl from Ipanema. Oh, and Jason Revels. What's up, Jason Revels? It's been a minute, Jason Revels, since I've seen you post a lot in the hub. So I think you've been busy, but I'm sure we're going to see you back being pretty active because you always tend to be the most active in the group. So I can't wait to see, what you post next. All right. So, enough of that. Let's get right into the show. Tonight we have Keith Boney. He is chilling in Richardson, Texas right now. The sun was still shining before this show started. It probably still is there because he's on Central Time. He goes by Hi Keith. Let me go ahead and bring him on. What's up, Keith?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. You look like you're a pretty chill, happy person. So, am I getting the right impression right off the bat?
Yes, yes. I do my best.
Awesome, awesome. So, we were talking a little bit before the show started. It was raining in Texas. Now it's not raining. But what I'm most curious about is how you got your start in music in general. Like, what are some of your earliest memories of? Oh man, I love music and I want to do it. Just start there.
So this is actually really interesting, at least to me. So I've always like really been into music, I would say naturally, starting from elementary. I remember my best friend at the time in elementary, his name is Xavier. And like first, second, third, fourth, all the way through fifth grade, our thing was I would beatbox and he would freestyle. So like ever since I was a kid, I was always like really into percussion and wanted to play drums. And then of course I also had my time being in the church choir. So music was always around me and I was always in music. So then spent some time in band in middle school where I played baritone. So that was like kind of where I got to learn about bass lines. And then from there, kind of took a break, just wanted to explore other things, sports and things of that nature. And my high school friends had an ongoing joke that they wanted to like make a mixtape. And I was like super against it. I was like, man, I don't want anything to do with music. And once we graduated, something just like clicked. I don't know what happened, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go invest in music equipment and I'm gonna get a DAW because I had a cracked version of FL Studio that I was playing around with for a little bit. And yeah, once I decided to invest in it, it just kind of went off from there. And it was really funny because I kind of called my friend's bluff. I was like, hey, y'all said y'all wanted to make a mixtape. I got the stuff now. Let's go. And it was, I realized in hindsight, it was kind of one of those things where like destiny was kind of steering me on my path. and it was something that I needed to do. So yeah, that's pretty much how we got to here.
Awesome. So when you say you made a mixtape, were you the producer and then like your friends were the artists, or who did what in the, creating that?
So that it ended up becoming a thing where I did the production and like the rapping and stuff like that because
Mhm.
I it's actually funny because I forgot about that. I took a guitar class in high school, so that's kind of what kept me into music. And by the time I had all of the different pieces to do production, it was basically just me. So they were kind of just supporting me making my own music as opposed to like us making a group mixtape.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. I thought they were like taking credit and you were doing everything or something.
Oh no.
I mean, I know, you know, if you in the chat have ever used a cracked version of FL Studio, I promise we're not going to tell on you, but let us know because I think everybody got their start on some cracked version. Like
Yeah.
back when everybody was pirating everything and all of that. Do you still use FL?
Yeah, yeah. That was because that was kind of like my entryway and it just made sense. Like the step sequencer was really the big selling point for me. And since I'd already kind of learned it, once I bought it, I was just like, okay, I can stick with this. Everyone was telling me at the time, well, people were saying like, oh, the industry standard is Pro Tools, but I stuck with FL Studio, and you know, here we are now, and you got Metro Boomin saying, no, you can just make beats on FL Studio, so I
Yeah.
feel good about that one.
The industry standard now is good music. So,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You got those high quality stems, you can put that into any DAW and, manipulate it or whatever. So, yeah, I come from that time as well, like where FL Studio, I mean, where Pro Tools was the industry standard. Like, I'm probably a lot older than you, so, but back in the day, I mean, I remember like, so I used to be like in a singing group, and we were
mm,
signed to a deal, and we had an engineer come in one day to mix one of our songs because it was going to be released.
mm,
And his name was Maserati. I don't know what his whole name is, but he came in with this giant, I would say like 6 foot tall rack that he ran Pro Tools on because this was back in like 2000, something like that, like the year
mm,
2000. So this is a long time ago.
yeah,
Um, and it was like 6 feet tall and just rack after rack of like hardware to run it, and that's what he used just to mix. So it's amazing how far technology has come and how far those chips have like gained power since then.
yeah. That is, I could only imagine.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, pay the producer. He had a crack version. Yep. So he bought it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Somebody asked him, "How
Yep,
do you expect to make money off of something you're stealing?" Amen. Amen to that. So yeah, I think
absolutely.
it doesn't cost that much. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't cost that much. So, go out and buy it. But, like some people just don't have the means or whatever. And especially if you're like a kid and you use a cracked version and like you don't have a job or anything like that, but you have a passion for music and, that gets you your start. I don't even think Image Line cares. You know what I mean? Because you're using their product. They know you're going to be a
Yeah,
customer later. They're,
exactly.
you know what I mean?
Exactly. It led to a customer, so
Yep. And Rich Rosen, he started on Cakewalk, first free dog. I think there's a free you can still get Cakewalk for free if I'm not mistaken, but they got bought by somebody else. I don't know. I don't remember. All right. So after you made that mixtape, what did you do? Did you go to college, pursue some other careers, do things like that and come back to music? Or what did you do after that?
yeah. So I when I went off to college, similar thing. I just kind of didn't. I was more focused on getting my degree. And during that time, I actually had a friend who he was preparing for med school, but he was making mixtapes.
Mhm.
Like, and at the time, like the quality was fantastic. And it's funny. So at that point in my life, I was more of a supporter of people making music. And he asked me like one time my senior year, he's like, "Hey, can we can I host a concert in your duplex? I was like, yeah, bro. Like, absolutely. So he got a couple artists from around campus, and we had a concert like in my living room.
Uh,
So that was one of those things where a couple of my friends, we used to always ask him like, hey, let us hop on the track, let us hop on the track. And his thing was, I'll let you hop on the track when you put out your own music. And I was like, you know what? I can respect that. And at the time I wasn't making music, so I was like, okay. But it was one of those, another one of those moments like where I recognized someone was putting the fire in me and I just wasn't acting on it at the time.
mhm.
And then so after, after undergrad, that's when I really locked in. When I started grad school, because at that time I was really only taking like 4 hours of classes per day. Uh, and I had just so much free time. So that's when I actually bought FL Studio and an audio interface and upgraded my laptop and stuff like that. So almost every day I would wake up at the whatever time, but usually in the morning, produce or learn production, just experimenting with stuff all day, and then just go to class for like an hour or two, and then come back home, eat, do the exact same thing. So during grad school is when I really started learning the DAW and kind of trying to find my sound.
And I missed it at the very beginning. Did you say you went to med school?
No, my friend was going to med school.
Your friend was going to med school. Okay.
Yeah.
What was your post grad? What were you going for? Or graduate?
Uh, so I originally wanted to get a PhD in psychology,
Mhm.
but once I got my master's, I just was tired of school. I was like, man, I need to. The only thing I know in life is school. I need to go learn how to make money.
Awesome. You touched on about 14 things I wanna talk about. So, just in all of that.
Yeah.
First, did the when you had the party,
Mhm.
um, did the cops come by and tell you to keep it down? Because every time I've tried to have something in my place, that happens. So did that
Yes.
happen to you?
Yes. So they showed up when we were like kind of getting started, and they told us they were just like, "Hey," because we went around like we told all of our neighbors. We asked them if it was cool. They all said it was cool. Then the cops came and they were like, "Hey, just turn it down at this level." And we made sure. We was like, "Hey, is this level good? Are y'all good with this level?" And they said, "Yeah, just don't turn it up." So we didn't. We kept it at that level the whole time. And then literally at the end, like we were done. Everybody was done performing. And then another set of cops came up and was just like, "Hey, we got to give you a noise complaint ticket because we've come twice." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh. All
Oh,
right,
man.
cool."
And then when he said you couldn't be on the album unless you or he wouldn't put you on one of his tracks until, you released your own stuff, that
Mhm.
kinda reminds me of last night when, oh, who was it? I think it was Michael yeah, it was Michael Connor,
Mhm.
had people reaching out to him, like, "I'm gonna send you a voice memo that's with no metronome," and all of that.
Yeah.
It kinda reminds me of that, and I'm glad that you recognized back then that you can respect that because it's like you were talking about making money at music. So there's a couple routes you can go. You can go the sync music route where you don't really have to market yourself, but the other
Mhm.
is all marketing. Like you have to know marketing. Did you
Mhm.
ever try that route as you were starting in music?
I did. There was a time where I was kind of gonna go the singer-songwriter route, playing guitar. And that I would do open mics, and social media was kind of starting to become more of a, I don't want to say necessary thing, but it was becoming much more of a viable option for promoting music. So I was doing that. But I honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of social media, so it just didn't feel authentic for me to continue doing that.
Mhm.
And at that point I was like, you know what? I don't even really like performing that much. So that's kind of where I went back to just kind of being a producer.
Okay. I have a feeling your philosophy degree played a part in your decisions, and you know what I mean? Like, what would you say is some of the most important mindset things that you learned from school or life in general that have helped you along the way so far?
The top thing that because I feel like I actually talk about this pretty often. It would be metacognition, like just being aware of how you think. And the Napoleon Hill, I think the Napoleon Hill book, As a Man Thinketh, like those are the things where I just ultimately realized if I ever wanted to do anything in life, I have to believe that I can do it and then do the things to get there. And all of that kind of attributes to mindset because, of course, we all have doubts, we have fears and things of that nature. And being able to identify those things and label them when they do come up and then just push past them and continue doing the things that you've set out to do will ultimately lead you to wherever you're trying to go.
I'm gonna ask you more mindset questions during this. Those are you're dropping gems right there. Hold on, let me see. Can I do a horn just for that? Let me let me find my horn. Hold on. That is so true. And a part of it is because I've been dealing with some of this myself, right?
Mhm,
You are your own biggest obstacle where you
mhm,
get in your own way. You're the only thing that is stopping you from getting what you want in this world.
mhm,
Um, and the biggest lesson that I've learned this year is that your thoughts are not you. Meaning, whatever initial thought you have is not who you are. It's just a
mhm,
thought that you have. And when you become, I forget the words you use, but you're like an observer of your own thoughts and
mhm,
what's happening, you can identify it, like you said, figure out what about your identity is not aligning with that thought, and then change your identity through, I do affirmations, meditation, visualization, things like that. So
mhm.
it's really been helpful. Do you ever do anything like that? Like to have a morning routine to get your mindset right?
Yeah, I do a lot of it in the gym. And I remember because before I was like more consistent in the gym, I used to, again, on social media, like I used to always wonder, why are so many people taking gym selfies? Like it looks vain, but at the same time, that was another one of those thoughts I caught where I was like, you know what? That's really judgmental. There's probably a reason for that. And
Mhm.
it's like, okay, if you're going to the gym and you're seeing yourself, you can speak to yourself. You're like, it's just literally the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror. And that's kind of my time to do that. And I spend a lot of time when I am in the gym, like in between sets or anything. I'm just looking at myself and just literally just kind of thinking and talking to myself. And, just in terms of it, almost kind of feels like even though I'm in the present, I'm talking to myself in the past as if I'm my future self. And it's like, hey, you're here right now. You can recognize that, but where you're going is where you're going. And just repeating that like every time I'm in the gym and just journaling, that's another one. And just, yeah, just constantly staying aware of the thoughts. I kind of I look at thoughts like a river. And when you're looking at a river, you can take a picture of it, but as you look at the river, you'll never see that picture again. Like the spot of the river that you took a picture of,
Mhm.
you'll never see that again. So it's like, okay, whatever you took a picture of, it just like you said, is that part of the river where you want to flow? If not, just let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's our own thoughts that stop us. I know it's a little deep for sync music, but
Yeah.
it's true. It's your own thoughts that stop you. And yeah, it's a river. They're just gonna keep coming. So you just gotta recognize the ones that align with where you want to go and just, you know, really gravitate towards those and then change your change find a way to change your subconscious. I have my ways
Hmm.
of doing it. Everybody probably has their own other ways of doing it because 95% of the decisions you make are coming from there,
Right.
right? All right. Well, cool. Let's talk about music a little bit more. So are you still on FL? Do you still make your music on FL Studio?
Yes, yes. I guess we're on FL 2025, which is weird. It's 2026. It's updating. Lifetime updates. That was his biggest selling point for me.
Mhm. What's some of your go-to, plugins and tools that you use?
Recently, it's been Contact 8, Massive 10, um, because I just last year or whenever there was like a big sale, because I remember there was a big conversation going on during the hub where
Black Friday.
yeah, I think like Complete 15 was on sale, and I was like, okay, I got to get that because the strings libraries that were in there were what I wanted the most because I knew to a certain extent that I wanted to do cinematic composition, and the stock string libraries just weren't doing it for me.
Alright, cool. Well, that being said, let's hop into one of your tracks, but we're going on a journey with these tracks. So you did something from a long time ago, something a little sooner, and then something that's most recent, right? We kind of put
Yeah,
it together like that.
yeah.
What do you wanna tell us about this first track?
So Saved by the Intro was actually the first track that I made where I realized like, oh man, I actually want to do TV and film for my music because my at the beginning of my producer journey, I would just kind of make let's say like a 16 bar extended to 32, and then I would almost make a completely different song, but in the same key and same vibe, and just keep doing that. So my songs never ended. And so this particular track is shorter, and that was me trying to do the exact opposite of like, okay, make something to the point, short. And when I was done, I was like, man, this would be a great intro to a show.
Okay,
So yeah,
awesome. Um, I grew up, most of my career before doing the job I do now,
mhm,
was being a singer, and one rule of the stage is leave them wanting more, right? Like, hit it and quit it, just like the
yeah,
you don't wanna be there too long, so I think you got the right instincts there. Clint popped in, he said, "What's up?" Let me share my screen, so saved by the intro. Here we go. And, I apologize, I mispronounced your name earlier, it's Keith Boney. That's
yeah.
one thing,
That's like
like, in the hub, we just talk by text, right? We just see each other's
right.
profiles and all that, so I apologize for saying your name wrong.
Oh, it's
So
all good.
alright, so here we go. Saved by the intro, let's go. Well, I apologize again, Keith. Everybody's saying I'm on mute. Clint's giving me a hard time. I'm not sure. I must have I pulled a Clint. Felt good being on the other end of that. My bad. I guess when I shared, I didn't share the audio. So let me double check, see what's going on here. My apologies. Everybody was just like watching for 1 minute straight this the Canadian flag cover art.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So all right. So now I feel for you, Clint. I feel for you. I know I know what it's like to be on this side of it now. All right. So let me stop this sharing. So how do I stop? There we go. Stop the share. Okay. I'm gonna share again. This time it says also share tab audio. All right. I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong. I've never used Spotify before.
Mm.
To share on this particular platform, so maybe it's that, but I'm gonna try one more time. All right. Um, Ray, Clint, Michael Connor, everybody let me know if this works. I'm gonna try it again because it does say also share tab audio. I've got that clicked, so let me know if this works. All right, let's try it. All right.
Is it playing the right song?
Ah, all right, it's not working.
Oh no.
There might be some sort of like security thing with Spotify where maybe they don't let you stream through a platform there, you know what I mean? Like, maybe
Yeah,
there's
that would
something
make
like
sense.
that. I don't know. Is there a way around this? I can't download from here either. I don't have, what do you call it? Premium with Spotify or anything like that. I do YouTube Music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could still maybe I could find it. Is it on any other platform?
Yeah, it's on all streaming
Alright.
platforms.
Saved by the intro.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. I forgot.
Yeah, we'll give it a try. We're not giving up. We're gonna hear this. Give me one
Yeah.
sec or I'm the only one that gets to hear it so far, so let's see what we can do here. Alright, saved by the intro. Keith. Hi, Keith. Hi, Keith. Keif. Alright, let's see. YouTube. I got Saved by the Bell. Okay, that's a TV show. That's not gonna work. Uh, yes, I did mean that. Alright. I'm searching for it. No, that's Chief Keef.
Yeah, man.
Uh, it's not coming up. Uh,
Hold on. I need it.
Let me know if you can send me the link.
Yeah.
YouTube may let us do it.
All right.
And
Shit.
this is a good lesson for anybody that wants to get your TV into music and film. There's a platform called Disco, which is pretty much the industry standard, and your last song is going to be on Disco. So
Yeah.
we know you're already on it. But it always plays in these lives and they don't have any kind of security thing. So we're gonna try that. Okay, you sent me a link. Let me open it in a new tab. All right. I got Fall Leaves Drop. And it's 48 seconds long. I think it might be the wrong one.
No, that's the right one.
That's the right one? Okay. All
Yeah.
right. But the other one was like a minute and a half.
Yeah, that was the second one.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, cool. All right, so let me know if you hear this one. We're gonna try this one more time. This one's called wait, where'd it go? Here it is. It's called Saved by the Intro. Oh, it's the same one. Okay, here we go. It's just a shorter version. Okay. All right. So I'm hitting YouTube. All right, we're sharing. Here we go. Let's go, YouTube for the win. That was dope. That was some old school synth. When did you make that one?
Ooh, that's a great question. Part of me feels like I've made it in like 2017. Actually, yeah, it was probably around 2016, 2017. Because there's this guy, there were I had a couple buddies that were working on an animated show that they were well, they actually did. They pitched it to Adult Swim, and I let them use that song for the intro.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did it get placed there?
So no, they didn't. They didn't. The show didn't get picked up. So that was one of those things where I was like, okay, I can do this. This opportunity didn't land the way that I hoped, but I can still do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely retro vibes, like Michael Connor saying. Um, yeah, I like that. I could totally hear that in the beginning of like an Adult Swim type show or something like that. So that totally makes sense. What was the show about? I'm just kind of curious what the premise was.
It was about. It was basically the two guys that were working on the show. They were the main characters and they worked at Walmart, and Walmart was like, because Walmart is a really big store. So the premise of the show was, uh, I think the manager of the store or something like that was an alien. So there was always like some weird stuff going on in Walmart, and there's like a theme park. It was kind of nuts.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a. When did Rick and Morty come out? Because that sounds like a precursor to something like that. Like they had those way out ideas before before Rick and Morty came along.
Yeah, pretty much same vibe.
All right. That is cool. That's cool. All right. Why don't we hop into your next one? Hold on. You sent it in the chat.
Mm.
And just so you know, the Spotify link was playing me. I know nobody else could hear it, but it was playing me a completely different song. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think YouTube for the win. So Clint, if you're still here, if you're watching, if people send you Spotify, you might run into this problem. I don't know. We'll see. Unless he has a Spotify subscription, maybe that's what makes the difference. All right, cool. I got it here. Flow. All right. So what can you tell me about Flow?
So
Uh,
that was one of those projects, which I didn't say earlier, but majority of the music that I made, like that I put on digital streaming platforms, I mostly made that music for me. It's just like reminders for myself. And Flow is one of those, is like the EP or whatever that I made that honestly is about what we were talking about earlier with the whole like river of thoughts and things of that nature.
mhm.
So um this particular track, Share Vision and Active Support, is about, just coming together, having a shared vision, but then also like actively supporting. Because there's one thing you can wish well for people, but it's another thing to like position yourself to actually help them get to where they're trying to go. So that's what that track is about.
Amen. Um, there there are so many people that will give you thoughts and prayers, but when it comes to like um how did I heard this recently and I don't know, like, sometimes you scroll through TikTok or through, reels or whatever, and you get little nuggets of wisdom every once in a while. You just gotta
Mhm,
gotta scroll through the crap. But there was this one person talking about helping somebody, and in this particular case, it was somebody going through grief.
mhm,
And if you say if you say the words, something like, "Hey, if there's anything you want me to do, just let me know,"
Mhm.
that actually puts work on them. It
Mhm.
makes them have to ask, it makes them to have to think of how they can help or something like that, and the advice was like, if you really care about them, you wanna help them, whatever you think would help them, go ahead and do that, you know?
Mhm.
Um, maybe they have kids and you could watch their kids for a while so they can have a moment of peace, or you could, make them dinner, bring them food, or, clean up something, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just actually do it. So that kinda goes with what you were saying about this particular song. I don't know if if that's what we're gonna hear with the music, or, if that goes along with it, but I love the message. I think that's great. Alright, so let me bring it up. Shared visions and active support.
Mhm.
And I love the shared vision as well. Like, if you both, like, me and my wife want mostly the same things out of life, right? So having that shared vision and doing things actively to support that. So, it's a great message. Here we go. Let's play it. Alright, hopefully this plays well. I hit the wrong button. Man, this has been a technical mess up night. Great track, great track. All right. I hit Michael Connor's elevator music on accident. All right. Yeah. One thing I notice about your stuff, and even in your new stuff, one thing that's remained consistent is there's always a single string line in my left ear. Like, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
like a go-to of yours, or do you do that pretty often? Do you like the sound of that?
Yeah, I once I when I learned kind of the foundation of the like mixing a orchestra, I started I think it's the BBC String Symphony Orchestra or whatever. Like their interface has the orchestra. So I was like, well, I may as well just pan it the way that it already is. So yeah.
Yeah, Michael Connor had a whole string class about that, of like where the violas are, where the violins are, where the cellos sit, like in the mix, and like you're actually in the room. So that totally makes sense. Are those the is that a cello? Are those the cellos like that you normally solo first and then add harmonies to?
Yeah. Most of the time, yeah. It's either I kind of switch between cellos and violin twos. That's kind of like the middle sounds.
All
And
right.
then yeah, just stack on top of that.
Cool. Lots of fire emojis. Everybody's shouting you out. Jason Rebels, Ray Garcia, Rich Rosen, KJ, Michael Connor. Keith Halliburton. Keith Halliburton is, somebody I heard in another live in another, community. That Keith, you are a monster producer, by the way. If you ever wanna get your music into TV and film, hit me up. That guy's got some amazing stuff.
Uh,
Alright. But this show is not about Keith. Well, it is. It is about Keith, but
Yeah,
not that Keith.
like the
All right.
Spider-Man meme.
Oh yeah, pointing to you. All right. Well, cool. So let us. So, when did you make that one? Do you remember when you did that EP or album?
I if I think that was 2024. Because every year in October I've started doing like a Beattober where
Hmm.
I make something every day for that month, and I usually get like a project or two out of that. So I'm pretty sure that came from the 2024 version of that. Who knows? I would
Okay.
have to check my files, but yeah.
When did you join the hub then? Like, when did that happen?
So that that's even funnier to me. I just checked a couple weeks ago, and it was May 17th, 2024, which was my graduation day from college.
Okay. All right. What got you to join? Like, what made you decide to try to get your music into TV and film and stuff like that?
I would say kind of consistent with what I've been saying before. Like it was something that was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to do. And I remember, I think in 2020, 2021, one of those, I'd actually got ACJ's Road to 10 Placements course. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to do this. But then life and distractions and not being focused happened. But I still followed him on Instagram. So when I saw that he had the hub going, I was like, oh, wait, okay, I've been following this dude for years. I've been saying I'm gonna do this for years. Okay, it's time to actually do the thing. So I joined the hub, and the rest has kind of been history. Just learning from all of y'all. I'm just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
There's a path forward.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. But like joining the hub costs money.
Hmm.
And I know in order for somebody to separate me from my money, like they gotta have like it's gotta like awaken something inside of me or
Hmm.
like maybe see something I didn't see before. So like I know you'd taken the road to 10 placements, but what made you decide to I mean you sort of touched on it, but what made you decide to
Hmm.
finally pull the trigger and say, you know what, I am joining this community and I'm gonna do it?
Honestly, his track record. Because like through all those years, his message was just really consistent, and I can't remember like this what the specific post was or anything. I think it was around the time he was doing the "I Make Music, Not Excuses," like when that was kind of starting off,
Mhm.
and that was a message that just like hit me in the face. Like, are you gonna make music, or are you gonna keep making excuses?
I love it. That's great. And you just coined a new phrase that's blowing up in here. ACJ. Nobody's ever called him ACJ before, so maybe
Oh,
that'll stick.
I've been wondering that because I was just like, man, I haven't met him in person. I don't know what he likes to be called. And I'm just like, well, his
Oh, it's
brand is his whole
ACJ from
name.
yeah, it's ACJ from now on. Let's go. That's awesome. I think that deserves a DJ horn. Hold up. Let me see if I can hit the right button. All right. I found it. I found the right button. All right. Okay. So here we are. We're gonna play your last song in just a little bit, and I know you've been. I don't think this song is part of that album, but you've been working on an action cinematic type of
Hmm.
album. Um, w- what are your plans? Like, I know you've gone through the courses. You've probably been sending to music supervisors, or not music supervisors, but music libraries, and
Hmm.
seeing how far you can get. Still pretty early in the journey. Have
Hmm.
you had any successes yet? And if not, what's your plan?
So I have not, and I did submit a couple of tracks to a library. Well, I kind of went through the when ACJ said, teach them how to fish.
Mhm.
I was going through a bunch of libraries, and I submitted to a bunch, didn't get responses, but one did respond. And I guess the music supervisor was saying, like, oh, we're not accepting this type of music, but I can tell you're really good at what you do. And that, like, that one message was kind of like, okay, I need to, because to a certain degree, I'm like uber self-aware of my skill level and the quality of my sound. So it was more so at that time I was pitching with objectively a lesser quality, and to know that my quality wasn't up to par, but still have someone tell me like, "Hey, keep going." I was like, "All right, cool." So that's kind of where I've been this year, is really locking in on upskilling, getting my mixing and mastering better, and like overall instrumentation, because I do have a tendency to sometimes to overproduce. So now it's like, all right, you can put together something nice. Now I look at it kind of like uh, a block of marble, where it's like now I'm just kind of chiseling things off so that the sculpture of my music is something that people can just be like, all right, yeah, we want that.
I've used that analogy before too, just on like an individual track. Like, when you overproduce, you throw everything in and then you just start chiseling away at actually what you actually need. So that kind
Hmm.
of goes along. But I can say that everybody that you've seen that's had success in the hub has been exactly in your shoes.
Hmm.
Where, the quality wasn't quite there, kept working. And I think the thing that might help keep, all of us going is to remember that 99% of the people are going to give up. They could be more talented than you. They could play an instrument better than you. They can, they may have a vision for their music, or their music's incredible, but they may try it for 6 months and then be like, "Eh," and then try something else. That's what most
Hmm.
people do. That's what I do. That's what I've done my whole life, until recently.
Right.
So, if you remember that most people give up and you just keep honing your craft and you keep putting in the work every day, and figuring out what there's a demand for and how that demand aligns with what you love to make,
Hmm.
it will happen. You just got to keep at it.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. So you're on the right track, and being a philosophy major probably helps in having that mindset. All right. So let's play your last one here. This one's on disco. It's called When No One's Watching. Looks like a sports track. What do you want to tell us about that one?
So yeah, I made that one sometime in 2025, and that was, as it says, it's like it I can submit every Friday, and that's cool, and like get the feedback from the hub, and that's a nice boost. But at the end of the day, I still have to put in the work when nobody's watching. So that's what that track is about.
I've heard that I've heard that as the definition of integrity, right? Like when you are doing the right thing when nobody's watching.
Hmm.
In this case, it's putting in the work when nobody's watching, but in general, like, I know when I'm at my regular job, I pretend my boss sits next to me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like, okay, what would my boss say if I did this, right? So it's kinda like that. You're your own boss and you're like, you don't wanna let yourself down,
right.
right? So that totally makes sense. So let's hear this. When no one's watching is what this one's called. So let me share my screen. Here we go. All right. Let's go. Game time. Every sports track has to have the tubular bell. That was fire, that was good. Everybody was, loving it in the chat as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, oh, here we go, piano sound. Oh, wait, who was KIP Music? You told us who you were earlier. Um, somebody that's in the hub a lot. I can't remember now. Let me see. Who is KIP? KIP, who are you? I forgot already. My bad. He came into the chat and I was like, okay, remember KIP is this person or KPI, whatever it is. Hold on. No, it is KIP. All right, cool. Well, anyway, lots of fire emojis. There we go. KJ, Michael Connor, Jason Revels, Keith, the other Keith, the Spider Man
Yeah.
you're pointing at. Oh, Ken Stavis. Right. Okay. That's Ken. Ken is KIP. All right. Awesome. There we go. All right. Brian Ward. I'm assuming that's whose WardWorks is. All right. I feel for Clint. He kind of has to know everybody's YouTube name. You know what I mean? If it's not
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll remember that one. Yeah, tubular bell is the new cowbell. Yes, sir. Did you make a whole album of sports stuff?
Not yet. And that's one of those ones where because this was during 2025 where I was admittedly less consistent and I was
Mhm.
gonna finish or do a sports album, but I can't even really tell you what happened, but I can say that like at the end of 2025 is when which I think I messaged you about it, where I just kind of I was like, okay, this year you're going to do the thing. So I made my production schedule. So
Mhm.
that's I don't remember which month right now, but I have scheduled to finish that album. But I
Oh,
also wanted to like taking ACJ's advice, like focus on one thing and niche down. So that's where the Action Tension album has gotten most of my focus.
yeah. Just speaking from my experience, uh, I started off just doing like crime underscore, stuff, right? For one music library because that's what they needed. And I got
Hmm.
really good at it. So, I mean, I niched down to that one thing. But what can happen down the road, what's happening to me is that they're asking me for other types of music because they have
Hmm.
a demand and they know you're a good producer. They know you're reliable. They know you know how to send in your deliverables and all of that kind of stuff, which you'll get experience at as you go, right? But,
Hmm.
um, so, yeah, I think that's good advice. They know you as the blank type of music person, the sports guy or the action guy or whatever it is, right? And
Hmm.
then once they know that and you start delivering what they need to them, that's when the down the road they'll be like, "Oh, why don't we ask this person to give us this type of new music that we need that nobody's making right now?" And
Hmm.
then that's when you can kind of spread your wings and, do all sorts of different types of music. And I think that's where it really gets fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
All right, so we have like just a few minutes left. Is there any like I asked this at the end of all you've seen all these. Is there like any words of wisdom, piece of advice, or questions, either one that you want to say at the end of this to, make the most of the last few minutes we have here?
uh Honestly, you kind of said what I probably would have said at the end, just about um, knowing that 99% of people are probably going to give up.
Yeah.
So just even knowing that gives you an edge if you're really committed. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I, anyone who is where I'm at, or even a little earlier in the game than I am, I would say that is the like number one mindset to keep in mind.
Yes. Yeah, one thing I learned, early this year that's helped me too is I'm always in a rush. I'm always trying to get it done now?
Hmm.
One of the meditation like, after meditation, I do affirmations, and one of my affirmations is, I can move slowly and still make progress."
Hmm.
Like, you don't have to do it all today, you just have to do what you scheduled for the day.
Hmm.
Just doing it day after day, and it happens. So that's how you outlast everybody is you don't look at the results, you just look at what you're doing every day. Just take it day by and
Yeah,
the results will happen if you build your plan geared towards whatever you're trying to get to.
for sure.
Yeah. I love it. Great. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. For anybody out there who's not in the Sync Producer Hub, just so you know, well, this is Keith Boney. Hi, Keith. He is one of the members of the group. So what we do in the hub is we get our music into TV and film. It's a community that was created by ACJ Anthony Clint Jr. That's his new nickname. You've coined it. You get the credit. So ACJ put this together. He's got all of these courses that takes you step by step on everything you need to do to get your music into TV and film. What's in demand, how to figure out what's in demand, how to format your music so it has edit points and music supervisors will choose it first, how to put metadata on that music so they know what type of scene it's going to be perfect for, what type of emotion it is, all of that. Teaches you how to reach out to music libraries. And most recently, he's like our Claude guru, giving us all these AI tips and like how to build our own tools. So you worry less about the admin stuff. You don't have to spend all that time just like manually doing all of these processes, like shortcut that so you can get back to making the music. Um, all of that. So if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description. You can learn more there. Keith, I want to thank you for your time. I already asked you for your last words, but anything you want to say to everybody here?
Yeah, I appreciate everybody in the hub. Just I as you can see, I don't have any words. That's how deep my appreciation is because I can talk, and when I don't have anything to say, I'm feeling very deeply. And yeah, I want to thank you also for hosting this space and allowing me to share my story.
No worries. And I am also grateful for each and every one of you in the hub as well. So we have a great thing going here. I'm excited that we're all part of it. We'll see you in the next Sync Producer Spotlight. Next week we have Rich Rosen. So Rich, you're on deck. Get your stories ready, and we're gonna have a great interview with you as well.